12, and say, "How have I hated instruction, and my heart despised correction? I have not obeyed the voice of my teachers, nor inclined my ear to those who instructed me." You know, when we neglect wisdom, when we neglect the wisdom of our fathers, there are 1,000 voices out in our culture who will lead us astray towards the lusts of our flesh. Hollywood, television, the music industry, they all glorify sexual immorality and pursuing your passions at any expense. And they typically don't, in their songs or at the end of their movies, display the final outcome of the sexual immorality, the pain, the suffering, the anguish. Those things they try to hide. But you know what? They're finally exposed. Usually it's in the aisle, at the grocery aisle, right? When you see the gossip magazines about the Hollywood stars and how their lives are broken and a complete mess. Eventually these things come to bear. They can't be hidden. Those broken lives are betrayed in the gossip columns at the grocery store. Verse 14, "I was on the verge of total ruin in the midst of the assembly and the congregation." And this is just, I think what he's saying here is, I'm being ruined, and everybody knows about it. Because like I said, this is something you think maybe we can keep secret, keep it in the dark. But things that happen in the dark tend to come out into the light, and especially sin. Sometimes we can keep it secret for a while, but eventually the brokenness just spills out into our public life. The next few verses are going to we're going to make a little turn here and talk about God's design for romantic love. What is, not what's forbidden, but what is allowed. And not just allowed, but in fact encouraged. Something to be enjoyed and celebrated. Because that is God's original design for the affection and romantic love between a husband and a wife. And he says this in verse 15, "Drink water from your own cistern, and running water from your own well." Here, a wife is pictured as a fountain, as a well. I think of an oasis in a desert. And that's what a wife is to her husband. Every husband has his own oasis that he can come home to. Life can be challenging. Life can be difficult. It can be filled with toil, both physical and mental, be filled with conflict. And at the end of a daily grind, there's nothing better for, especially a man, and I'm thinking here specifically of men, to come home and take comfort in the arms of a woman. Not just any woman, but your woman. Sweet and soft and gentle and tender. There's nothing like it. And as a thirsty man craves for water in a dry desert, so he craves for the love of his own wife. And when you have found your own wife, as the Bible says, you found a good thing, you can drink from her love as often and as deeply as you would like. Not only can you, but you should, you ought to. And that is what Solomon is getting into here. And this is not true for just men, right? It's true for women as well. For a woman, a man is also an oasis. Women deal with challenges and difficulties in life, and also in a lot of different ways, right? Fears, insecurities regarding safety and other things. And what a tremendous blessing it is to have your own man, your own strong man, to embrace you and to comfort you, to make you feel safe and loved. And so God designed for men and women in the sanctity of marriage to love one another, not in just a general way, but also romantically, and to enjoy one another just as God designed. Verse 16 says this, "Should your fountains be dispersed abroad, streams of water in the streets? Let them be only your own, and not your strangers, not for strangers with you." You see, this is a type of love that's different from other kinds of love, right? You know, it's interesting that in the English language, we really only have one word for love. Sometimes we talk about lust, but that usually has a negative connotation. In Greek, in many languages actually, there are multiple words for love. And the three we'll talk about is, one is phileo. That's a brotherly love. It's really a family type of love. A love you have for family can be for friends as well. But that's a love that is meant to be shared with really as many people as you would like. You have what's the other type of love? I can't remember. Agape, right? That's the other Greek word, agape love. And again, that's a love that is related to really commitment and care for just other people, and you can have that for many, many people. But then there's another type of love. In the Greek, it's eros. We get the word erotic from it. And that's really talking about the kind of romantic love that is between a husband and a wife. And that is a type of love that is different from the other kinds. It's not meant to be shared with others. It's meant only to be shared between a husband and his wife. And when you share it with others, things break, people break, families break, and death and destruction ensue.